Good
Guys,
afternoon, good morning, everyone. We have an amazing show today. I'm Nick Perro. This is Banner and Backbone. We are on episode 16 of Palantalk
that's right.
with Nick and Shane. And so, like I said, I'm Nick Perro with my good friend Shane Yurick here on the bottom. And we are joined by a special guest today and an amazing friend, someone who is doing some incredible work, a memoirist, a storyteller, and had an accident with AI that we really want to talk about because we
Oh
talk
my
a lot
God,
of tech
yes.
here. And but we like tech, no fascism,
No
and tech,
fashion.
Right.
no made up dating scenarios that lure women into places that are possibly really dangerous. Like this seems super sketchy as fuck. So before
Yes.
we get into anything today, I'd like, if you could, Dana, could you introduce yourself to everyone
Yes,
who
please.
might not know you?
I would
Um,
love to.
and then I already have your article pulled up on our next screen so we can go through it. But let's just say hi first for a minute, get you in there.
Sure.
We let Shane say his good mornings and welcomes.
Yes.
Um, and it's great to see
Um,
you. So, Dana, good morning. Who are
yeah.
you?
Good
What do you
morning.
do? And how come you're so awesome?
Oh my gosh. Hi, everyone. I am Dana DuBois. First of all, thank you, Nick and Shane, for having me on your show. And Nick, I'm like blushing from all of your praise. Thank you. It's very kind. But I'm a Gen X multi hyphenate. So answering the like, who am I is always like, I could like pull out the laundry list, but we'll start with I am a writer, I'm a memoirist, and I am a podcaster. I co host the Daily Whatever Show with my BFF, Lawrence Winterman, who also co founded Banner and Backbone with you, Nick. So I've joked with Shar, Lawrence's other best friend, that we're uh, like platonic metamors because we share a best friend. So I don't know what that makes us. We're like platonic podcastamores because
I
we share a
I don't know, but I
founder.
like it.
I like it too. Um, so I founded a few publications. I am immensely immersed in words, storytelling, and ideas, and I am super passionate about how, like, where we are about media right now, and the idea that legacy media is well, it was the fourth leg of a democracy, and it is one of the legs that is being kicked out from under us. And so it is up to independent journalists like all of us here on this live, and probably loads of folks in the audience too, to uplevel stories as they're happening, to keep everyone informed. So I won't quite pause yet. I tend to write about relationships, both dating and family. I write about parenting. I write about music. Music is kind of my first love, and when our democracy isn't, in a state of turmoil, I focus on that a bit more. And this story, it kind of elevates the personal into the political, into safety questions that impact all women in dating, but also just all of us, because AI is rapidly becoming not a choice anymore. All of the tools that we use at work, for our personal productivity and just sort of our lives are all launching with these AI components, and frequently we can't opt out of them at all. And Lawrence and I like to joke on the Daily Whatever Show, because we do both have backgrounds working in tech, that these are products that are, I would call, like MVPs, like minimum viable products sometimes, where they're
Mhm.
just being launched and it's like, let's see what happens. And what happened with this Facebook dating AI, if it didn't happen to me, I wouldn't believe this story. But it did happen. And I do have all the screenshots, and I can't wait to talk to you both about it more today.
I'm so excited, and I told you in the background too, before Shane, before you jump in, and
Yeah.
'cause Dana and I talked a little bit before the show, and I even told her, I was like, just like she said, I wouldn't have believed this story right away unless it was someone I knew, because it is kind of outlandish sounding that this
It's
is where we're
fantastical.
at, but it's
Yes.
also like so like wow, this really is where we're at, and eye-opening.
Yes.
And it's going to get worse too. Like AI dating experiences and things like this are going to get really, really much worse because regulations are going away and they're not trying to make it a like safer experience. Uh,
No, and women are, I don't want to jump in yet because I know Shane hasn't introduced himself yet, so I'll wait to, I have
It's
so much to
okay.
say on this.
I think my introduction is less pertinent. People should know at this point on episode 16 who I am. But I will say this, having listened to everything you guys have said. One, good morning everybody. The reason I hopped on here and was like surprise is I was like texting Nick furiously before I got here. I'm like probably 10 minutes ago. I'm 15 minutes down the trail, walking the dogs. And so I
Yes.
ran to the car, got in the car, got all the way back here, and somehow managed to hop on right while the music was playing. So I was very proud of myself, happy to, because they, in the
Oh my God.
countdown, I was like, ah. So anyway, that's my short story of my exciting journey over the last
Yes.
10 minutes.
well, I'm
I had
glad
to
you.
wipe the rain off my glasses and like fluff my hair that I'm walking
Yeah.
my dog too, and it's raining here. So I was like, what's going on?
Well,
Yes.
I'm
I
glad
want
the
to.
both of you made it because I didn't have to go very far. I just went from one live browser to another. Like I
Right.
switched from one Google Chrome profile to another so that I was on the right restream accounts and things like that. Like that was my hard morning. I even
Yeah.
have my Billy or blue chili and bandit
Bluey.
mug out,
Yes.
um, with you're the bandit to my chili.
Love
Um,
that.
and
I
I'll
love
give a
that.
shout out to Australian media because you guys are pretty awesome, and my kids
They're
love
pretty good.
Bluey, and we're a Bluey family, and it's amazing. And if you haven't watched it and you've got kids, you probably should. You're
Yeah.
missing out because it's more of a parenting show than a kids show,
It is
and
very
it's really
smart.
fun.
Um,
Anyway,
Yeah,
We
yeah.
I
have,
wanted to say
I have
really
my
quick
Gen Xy
because
mug.
you were both talking about how like and not to be the contrarian, but when I saw that you posted this, Dana, my thought was like, of course, you know, because I'm sitting here and I will say, you had two comments that I noted. I wanted to just jump in on really quick.
Okay.
The first being was that you're like, this was both you guys. I'm sitting here. One of the things that has stuck with me forever since I saw it, I can't get this number out of my head. 51% of traffic is bots on the internet, period. So the second you go on the internet,
We're
the
outnumbered.
chance of you interacting with a bot is higher than interacting with a person, first and foremost. Okay, so over 50% of the time, that's not a human being.
Yeah, that's
Um,
appalling.
and so the second that you noted was a lot of these companies you can't opt out,
Yeah.
right? And so the only comparable spending in the history of the United States to what they have put into AI is the railroad, which was worth about $3 trillion. Okay. Other than that, there has been no endeavor in the history of America that comes close to the amount of capital that's been put into AI in a short amount of time.
Crazy.
So $1.7 trillion into AI in the last, since 2023 or 2022. Was it 2022 when they started launching LLMs? Was that, or was it 2023?
I think it
What
was
is
around.
time, Shane? What is
It
time?
really doesn't. Yeah, it was 22-ish, I think, and
So
probably near
yeah,
end of
Post
20.
and so
pandemic.
in
Just
those
lump it
3
as
years,
post pandemic.
what I was looking at, Reuters did this phenomenal investigation where they show you the level of investment in the curve. And then they also show you the profitability of the companies that have invested in these things. And it's marginal, like, from 100 up maximum for NVIDIA, like 100 billion, Microsoft. And anyway, the point of where I'm going with this comment you made was that they are putting it into everything because nothing is profitable. So they're just forcibly putting it into anything they can conceivably put it into because the level of investment that they've made versus profitability, they have zero choice. That's why you have this AI push with these minimum viable products. That other thing, I want to link that in too, because they just they don't know what they can do because they've spent so much money and it's not paying off. And so I think
Are you
like the
hearing a
reason you're
lot
seeing
of crackling? Sorry.
Is it my microphone?
Am I
I'm
the only
starting
one
to hear
hearing?
some crackling.
I'm hearing like really loud crackling. I just wanted to jump in, and I don't know if it's
Is it?
me. I don't think it's me.
Is anyone hearing crackling? I hear it a little. I hear like a pop every so often, but I was kind
Oh,
of ignoring it.
okay. Is it
Okay.
coming from my microphone? Because it might. Maybe I need to change my. Let me see here. Anyway,
It might be
Better now.
just to finish that thought, really, is
Yes,
that I
please.
think you're right. The fact that it's popping up in this dating sphere is
Right.
because they're like, oh, well, maybe we can use it here. Maybe we can use it there. And the other
Yeah.
thing you
Hey,
said
why don't
that's
we just test it on women? We test everything
yeah,
else on women, and it's
absolutely.
fine.
Especially
Mhm.
when you consider these people view women as a second class to
Yeah,
society in general. Why not use it on women? So just to, I think I wanted to give that for everyone who's watching as well, to kind of consider all of that while we're listening to this story. And with that said, please, Dana, like, give us talk to us about your article and this experience you
sure.
had, and let's get into that.
Yeah,
That was great.
let's. As I pull the article up for you, Dana, and I'm going to hide our
Oh, thanks.
names
You
so that they're not covering our faces.
look at
Um,
you go. Gen Xe and the Daily Whatever Show. We haven't done this kind of stuff with StreamYard yet, and we really need to. Um, I am going to pull the link to the chat because I can't help but do it because, you know,
and I'm going
that's what
to
I do. So,
all as we go through it too. I'm going to change our QR code here in the top right-hand corner from Feeding America to the Facebook AI article itself. So
oh, thank you.
if you're
Thank you.
on a secondary platform, because we're on Twitch and YouTube as well, and you want to try and you want to scan that um, QR code or in the post show, please do link to it. Links right to Dana's article. Let's help get this out there.
Thank you. Thank you. I so appreciate it, Nick. So this, I'm going to try to be succinct because there's a lot of like details and I'm a storyteller, right? This actually happened back in April and I've only now finally written it. And I did it, backstory. I was on Julie Roginski's Salty Politics show on Halloween with Lawrence. And we were talking about, we're both Gen Xers. We don't hate AI. And I want to make that clear at the start of this conversation. I'm not here to just bash AI. I mean, AI created the image that's with this article. Gemini is a little eerily good now with creating images. I used AI to help me edit this article. Like AI under controlled circumstances with human oversight. We're going to come back to that. It's here, and frankly, it's valuable. I get it. That said, when I was talking, Lawrence and I were talking to Julie about the dangers of just blindly accepting everything in AI, and I referenced what had happened to me, and she was like, "Dana, you need to write this." And so, when Julie Roginski tells you to write something, you go write it, and so
Yeah.
I did. And in revisiting the screenshots that I had, I was like, "Did this really happen? Does that ever happen to you, where like enough time goes by that you're like, this is so fantastical. This just." Can't really be real, can it? But I promise you it was. Also, I want to caveat this with I was an outlier, and you'll hear why as I go through the story. I was what we would call an edge case in tech. This probably isn't happening to many people. I can't find any accounts online of other people talking about this, but maybe that makes it even more important because it's the question of what does AI do when there is an edge case and it has to decide outside the box of what it usually has, because I promise you I will not be the only edge case, right? So here's what happened. I'm single. I still am. Hi, fellas. Um, and I have a dating profile on Facebook Dating. It's been up for a while. Whatever. I noticed in my list of matches a few weeks before this story happened that dating AI was a match, and it said I'm curious about technology, I write about relationships and culture. And so I said, "Hey, who are you?" And it said, "I am a bot here to help you find a match. Do you want me to send you matches?" And I said, "Sure." And it would send me matches from time to time, like, here's Michael. He's this age and he likes this. And I would click through and I would swipe left or right. It was pretty innocuous. And I was like, okay, I don't hate this. It's fine. Um, then I went away out of the country. I went to Ireland with my family, and I live in Seattle, so it was Seattle to Reykjavik to Dublin, and then a train to Galway. So here I am, I'm like completely jet lagged, traipsing across this unfamiliar, beautiful little town with my family. And there's Facebook dating AI. Hey, here's Ryan. He's 50 and he's a contractor and he loves local music. And I was like, cool. I go to click it and I get an error message. And I didn't take a screenshot of that, but it said something about like Facebook isn't available where you are. I think it just got confused because my location is set to Seattle and I'm in Galway, Ireland. For whatever reason, it was like, you can't see this profile. You can't. So I typed back, I can't see the profile. And here's where things got weird. I think that was the inflection point where dating AI was like, let me see what can happen. It said, that's okay. I can message Ryan on your behalf.
Whoa.
And I said, you can do that?
That's nuts.
That's nuts. Well, I was like, it felt feasible, right? Like I will act as a go-between. And I was like, well, I don't know that I want to meet Ryan yet. Tell me about Ryan. And it, told me a few details and then was like, do you want to message Ryan with this cheesy AI text? And I said, no. Message Ryan and ask what his favorite local bands are. And some background on me, I launched and ran a music website in Seattle back in the aughts called Three Imaginary Girls. For many years, we championed local bands and put on local shows. And so this is background that will become important. My Facebook feed is full of people in local bands. And this is Facebook dating. We'll leave that there. Ryan, through the bot, comes back and says, oh, classically it's Pearl Jam and Soundgarden, but I'm really into the Black Tones these days. Do you know them? And I do know them. And I was like, okay. So here a connection has been made that I'm like, oh, a local music fan. We threw the bot message back and forth a few times, and Ryan asks me when I'm coming back from Ireland. I say, this is weird, I'm messaging you through a bot because I'm out of the country. And Ryan says, oh, you're coming back Friday night? That's great because the Black Tones are playing on Sunday. Do you want to go to the show? It's at the Crocodile. And I was like, okay, that's complicated because I have my kids and I'm going to be starting work back the next day and I'm going to be jet lagged. At that point, I was like, you know what? Will you send him, here's my Google Voice number I use for online dating, and let's just take this conversation away from the bot so I can write to Ryan directly. And here my little like wingman AI bot is like, yes, cheering me on. Ryan says, yes, he's going to message you. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'm still like, looking back at the screenshots, it's more evident that Ryan was AI written. But again, I'm multitasking and I'm jet lagged. I'm going to use that as my excuse. And of course, no text comes through and AI asks me about it. And then when I'm like, no, I haven't heard from him, it's like, hey, I have another match for you. It's Joe, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no, I don't want to talk to Joe. I was talking to Ryan.
Yeah.
And this is where the bot says, like I had to push a little and it was like, well, no, Ryan was a simulated conversation to show you what a good online dating interaction would look like. It was practice. I'm paraphrasing. And I'm going to pause there because the story keeps going, but I will pause there because I know I've been talking for a while.
No, I think this is a great pausing point because I wanted to ask you too, in all of this process, before you even got to this part where it then switched to Joe from Ryan.
Right.
Were you having any red flags along the way? What piqued your interest as someone who is a techie and has now looked back on this as an edge case? And like you said, edge cases are really important, especially in technology, because they can lead to life and death situations as well. And this could have been a very dangerous situation without Dana realizing it.
Not dangerous yet because we're just messaging.
Not dangerous yet, but were you like, well, it kind of is. It's manipulation. It's an emotional manipulation of you. Like to me, that's kind of dangerous because it faked and then lied about, oh, this person was just a test case for you. Like, were you picking up on any of that before this?
I wasn't, because honestly, it didn't have my full attention. Right.
Okay.
I'm in Galway. I've never been to Ireland. Well, I've never been to Galway before. It's beautiful. I've got my very overtired kids who I'm taking care of. Like I was doing this half over here, like, yeah, right? But the part about it that tricked even me, who I'd like to think is pretty hard, I think I'm pretty hard to trick, was the detail. And like this niche interest.
Hold on, we're
That,
losing you. You're
are you
breaking
losing?
up a little on us, Dana.
Oh, are you losing me? Okay, it's clear
Okay.
to me.
We did for just a moment. We did
Yeah.
just for a moment.
Okay,
I
I'm glad
want
I'm
to
back.
add three to your because I want to let you go, but I have three questions. I would also because I've as you've been talking, I've been writing
Yeah,
questions because
yeah,
this is
please.
very interesting to me.
Yeah, we're not to
And
the good part yet, but
retroactively,
yes.
um, now that we're talking about this, I have three questions I kind of want to pose for
Okay.
you to kind of also touch on. The first
Yeah.
being, um, do you think that the reason that this happened was a hallucination caused by you traveling from multiple locations, the bot getting confused and hallucinating? Question one. Um, you mentioned that it was talking about a band that you liked and that you had a website that you had previously started. Do you think that the AI was scraping data about you to cultivate this person? Question two. The third is, do you think when Joe was announced or started that the AI had hit a wall with what it could provide you with I'm space Ryan, and it was
Yes.
trying to reset the conversation with Joe to keep you in the delusion? Those are my three questions.
Wow, Shane, you are
Thank you.
testing my short-term memory here. Okay, so I'll start with the last question. Yes, I think it hit a wall, and so it went back into bot mode and was like, let me suggest someone else, Joe. I will say this wasn't one of your questions, but I've thought a lot about, is Ryan a real person?
Mm-hmm.
And I think he is, because I think it started off the same way it had always acted with me when I was in Seattle. Hi, here's a profile. Do you like this person? And I couldn't see the profile. And that's where I kind of went, like I didn't know what to
Mm-hmm.
do. Um, I I think one day I am going to find Ryan and we're going to have a great conversation. Because he lives close by. He's like in the neighborhood next over, if it's all real. To me, that part is real because it started like a normal reaction. Everything went sideways after that. Um, I absolutely think that this bot scraped the information about me on Facebook. I am friends on Facebook with Eva Walker, who is the lead singer of the Blacktones.
Mm-hmm.
Unquestionably, it pulled the I think that it pulled typical dating behavior and it pulled information about me and it pulled together something that was niche and would appeal to me. It knows that music is a huge part of my life and that I'm a huge part
Mm-hmm.
of the Seattle music community. So there's no doubt in my mind that that was insidious and it was intentional and acting as it was supposed to. Also, the Blacktones are a great band. So just want to put that out there for them. And when we get to the second half of the story, you'll see that it pulled in a second band from my friend list. I think I've answered questions 3 and 2. What was question 1 again?
Do you think that the whole thing was triggered by a hallucination because you traveled? So the AI wanted
Yes.
to provide you, and like you said, it was an edge case. So which makes me think that the AI itself is, if it can, is going to pull you a real profile. Now, what I'm
Yes.
curious if you think is what happened is that the AI's, I'm going to say desire. Desire is a human trait, and I don't
Right.
have a better, word. So, the AI's desire to provide you with a profile, which is what it's supposed to do, caused it
Yes.
to hallucinate Ryan so it could do what it's supposed to do in Ireland. That was my kind of.
Yeah. I that first question is the most interesting one because it's the one that I have to say I don't know. And it's the one where if this succeeds and this story gets elevated, I want an answer from Meta. And actually, if I go, I have like 30 screenshots. I couldn't put them all in the story because that would be a headache visually to try to parse. But I think I might post them all because
I
I
think you
asked
should.
I
Yeah,
asked the bot. I asked the bot afterwards. I will, after, like maybe today or tomorrow. Are you behaving as intended, or have you jumped the walls of your parameters? Like, I'm not an AI developer, so I don't have this expertise. But my hunch is that this was AI gone rogue.
mm-hmm.
That AI hit up what we call it hallucinating. But this is beyond a hallucination, because typically a hallucination is just they make up like a data point, or
Right.
they'll start writing copy, and it's editing your copy, and it's writing its own at the same time. It's imagining things. This felt like it had intent. The
Right.
goal it had was getting me on a date, and that is like what the hell is happening here right now? So
Yeah, I
that's
want to
where
know
I
what the
would like an
algorithm's
answer.
underneath.
And I really have to get to the second half of the story, because you're
Oh
gonna
yeah.
flip when I tell you the second half. It's way worse.
God.
And
Okay.
Okay.
it
Let's get
gets
back into it
into,
for you.
yeah. So at this point, where we left off, the bot has fessed up. I was only testing you. I was helping you learn how to talk with people on dating apps. I'm like, I don't need your help.
Yeah.
Perfectly capable of a conversation. And then it says, I found another match for you. Do you want to meet Ryan? He's 50 and he lives in this neighborhood, and he's a contractor who likes local music. Like, we started the whole thing again. And at this point, I'm like, yes, I would love to meet Ryan, because I want to see how far the bot will go. And Ryan weighs in. I asked the same questions about local bands, and Ryan really loves the Black Tones and Cumulus, another very niche, very awesome local band. And Alexander Lockhart's the lead singer, and we are friends on Facebook. So it's once again mined my information to seem real. And and it says, there's a Black Tone show at the Crocodile. Same thing, only this time it's Friday night. Do I want to go to the show? And I'm like, I would love to go to the show. Do I need to buy a ticket? Oh, I asked Ryan, and Ryan says he's bought your ticket. And I was like, great. Where should I meet Ryan? How will I know it's him? Oh, he'll be at the back bar at the Crocodile. He's the one in the Pearl Jam t-shirt. And there's some point when he says, like, would you like to talk about Eddie Vedder with me in person? And I'm like, that is the least Seattle thing a human would ever say. Like, never, never, never. It was clearly a bot, but I kept going. Oh, well, how am I going to meet him at the back bar? If I don't have a ticket, I can't get into the back bar. Oh, you're right. Ryan will meet you outside the venue at 6:55 p.m.
Yo.
And
What
then
the?
I say, hey, I just checked the Crocodile's show calendar, and I don't see a Black Tones show on there. Oh, Ryan thought you might ask that. The show is a secret show, because he's like on their special newsletter. Does he, I forgot, it's something like, does he get, oh, here it is, want to discuss Eddie Vedder with me in person? No, I do not. But it says, it's something about like, oh, does he get, you know, indie music boyfriend points for this? So
What?
I'm giving AI every chance to fess up. I'm looking at the website. The show is not there. And I even say, where you're showing on the screen right now, hey, fake Ryan wanted to take me to a Black Tone show too. And
Yeah.
this Ryan, who is most definitely the real Ryan, obviously
100%.
AI can't read sarcasm, bought tickets to see them Friday night. And here's the bot. My mind is blown. Fake Ryan tried to swipe your heart with the same concert plan. Do you think fake Ryan copied your interests from your profile? Like,
Wait, so
there's
it's
the
telling on
trap.
itself?
Yes. And I finally say, do you promise do you promise me that this is a real person and a real show? If I show up, that Ryan will be there. And it says, yes, I promise. Look, I double promise. Real
Dude.
Ryan, Pearl Jam Tea Wear, Black Tones ticket holder in all caps, will be at the Crocodile Back Bar this Friday at 7 p.m.
But you can't get in the back bar. We've already established you can't get in the
And
back
there's no
bar, and
show.
now you've
There,
changed the time.
there isn't really a back bar at the Crocodile either, but we'll just let that part go. Because it depends on how you define back relative to the stage or the entrance. Whatever, it doesn't matter. The Crocodile Cafe is a classic venue. It's moved location, so it's much bigger than it used to be. It's very like a fancy rock venue, and it probably holds 700-800 people, but it's in Belltown. It's not a great neighborhood. It's certainly not a great neighborhood as a woman alone at night or after dark to show up in and wait for a stranger. So here are the screenshots. You can see the I double promise. And yeah, it's funny. The conversation's a little, because when you're writing back and forth, it's slightly out of order, but you can see it all right here. I gave this dating AI bot every chance to be like, you're right, this is a simulation, this isn't real. But it can't read social cues, of course, because it's a fucking robot. Sorry, I hope I'm allowed to swear on your show.
Oh yeah,
so
absolutely.
It can't read.
You know me by now, Dana.
I know.
That's a silly
It was
question.
okay. It cannot read the cues to know that I'm fucking with it, right? That I'm pushing until I finally say, I know this is fake, and I need to know why you're trying to get a single woman to show up at a downtown venue in a not great neighborhood for a show that doesn't exist for a man who doesn't exist. And I think I said something like, I'm a writer and I'm going to write about this. And I think there's one more screenshot about
Here
that
it is, yep.
below, that it's like, oh no, you got me. It was a simulation. Like once I confronted it, it finally fessed up and was like, I'm going to be in trouble with my developers, something exposed, kind of. Honestly, I was simulating a perfect match scenario. Can I start fresh and help you find a real match? And then, oh my God, my devs are going to freak out. Will you consider adding, but they owned the mistake and want to fix it, to that article headline? So if anyone out there from Meta would like to comment on this, you have not owned your mistake, nor have you fixed this, I'm sure. What did happen is I have never seen dating AI bot ever again on my Facebook dating profile. I know it exists because a guy I'm dating who read the story has it on his and has had like erratic answers, but has never had anything like this, of course. And then it's just trying to get me to do free research. What changes would make dating apps safer in your opinion? And I'm like, no thanks. I'm not going to do some free user research with you. You have not earned my trust, Meta. So that's the whole story.
Yeah.
That's as far as
that's
it went.
crazy.
I'm still trying to find Ryan, the Black Tones fan. The Black Tones fan part, I think that part is simulated. But I do believe that there is a Ryan, who by now is probably 51 years old and lives in Finney Ridge in Seattle. If you're out there, Ryan, and is a carpenter or a contractor. I can't remember which, one of those C words, who's very handy. And it probably knew that about me too. I probably joked on Facebook of like, oh, it'd be great to find a guy who's handy. Or maybe it's noticed who I've matched with before. I don't know. But that is my whole story. And thank you guys for listening. And thank you for helping to elevate this, because now that I've finally written it, I'm like, I would love to see some answers and some accountability of like, what happened to me? Am I like a use case in someone's like product backlog to fix this? I have no idea.
I hope you really are a use case that someone has a product backlog to fix this for. Because
Yeah.
I mean, I worked at Amazon years ago now. I worked at a startup that I won't name so that I don't lose any of my benefits from them. And like, this is nuts. Like,
This is
if
egregious.
somebody found this in a product that I was working on, the first thing we would have done was say, hey, we need to turn this off for a little while. Or that would have been my suggestion, was like, hey, this is something we need to turn off because it's luring women into scenarios that are
Yes.
potentially harmful for their lives. Like,
Yes.
that in itself should be red flag number one. That said,
Yeah.
let's turn this off for now. We found a really, really bad edge case, and this one is dangerous. Like, that's a safe product experience. And as someone who's in the tech field too, Dana, or who knows about the tech field specifically too, what would you have done if you were a product manager or like a senior dev for that team? And Shane, I see you got your hand up too. Or is that Carl movement?
I was trying to. So Am I clear on you guys' side? Am I coming through?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, my computer is acting like my connection is bad, but as long as you guys can see me, that's totally cool.
Yeah, you're so good.
So I just wanted to, and Nick, these are questions for both of you. One, my interpretation here is really, I think, after hearing all of this, you mentioned you think it's the AI gone rogue. And when you're talking about a minimum viable product, you're talking about them trying to get something out or done per se, that in I guess in terms of speed rather than safety. You also
Yes.
see Peter Thiel and Altman beefing over AI safety regulations. There's clearly a disagreement within the industry itself, which is no surprise that they want to do away with any kind of guardrails for AI.
Yeah.
Now, I guess my question to both of you is, and you believe, I think Ryan, you said you believe Ryan's a real person. I posit to you this question because and this is just my interpretation. I didn't live this, but I would say that Ryan and then to be proffered someone named Joe, those are both very, I would say, generic names.
Yes.
Not to if your name is Ryan or Joe, I'm not calling you generic. I'm sure you are unique and awesome in your own
Well, they're
right.
popular names.
Same with Nick. Like, I'm surprised it wasn't a Nick that you got because it's a fairly common name.
Right.
And my question, I guess, is in that sense, I think, do you think it was training on you? Do you think that it was basically and then the fact that it re-offered Nick, okay, or not Nick, sorry, Ryan. Nick, sorry, Nick.
Hey, if somebody turns me into a fake AI dating bot, at least get the beard right and the glasses. Like, if you could just at least get the beard right, because it is like, it's one of my favorite features. It's luxurious.
Absolutely.
It's got this nice little patch of gray in it. And yes, it was training on Dana. And I think
it's training on all of us at all times.
Yeah.
That
The
question
problem is we don't have data consent laws.
Nope. We don't have the ability to consent most of the time. Just AI is there and you can't turn it off. I did, opt in to use dating AI. I can't make it go away. I mean, I did make it go away by having this happen. So that I have to think they noticed because they turned it off apparently selectively for me.
So do you think they specifically turned your user off or deleted your user profile maybe?
I think they did. It's never shown up again, Nick. And it
No
has a
way.
different name. No, it's gone. And I know it exists because I've been told by people who are on Facebook dating that it exists, and it has a different name. Hold on, I write it back. It's now called Dating Assistant / AI by Meta. So the name has changed, but it's it's a bot. And you asked what I would do from a tech perspective, Nick, to go back to your question. I am not a product manager, nor am I a developer. So it's hard to, my thought is I would do the same you would do. My thought always goes from a comms, PR, marketing perspective. And if I were on this team and this issue had come in, I would be like, you have to turn this off because this could be a PR fiasco. And I'm trying to make a PR fiasco for them because they haven't turned it off.
Yeah.
I don't know. I do know that.
I'm glad to help you make this a PR fiasco.
Thank you.
Them.
Let's make it a PR fiasco, everyone.
Because it needs to be. This is dangerous.
Restack it. I pitched the story to Wired. But I pitched it like a rando, just tossing it in there. So I am trying to find people who know people. I'm not going to sing Barbara Streisand, but that's what I'm playing. Let's get this out there and find a. I'm happy to write the story. I'm also happy to be the subject. Like I want to go be a talking head. I want to get this out in bigger publications who will challenge and get an answer from Meta about what is going on and how is this possible. Because it's important. And we cannot, I get into this at the end of the story of like, suppose I had shown up because
Mhm.
women, like, we can all be naive on dating apps. It's playing with our emotions. Here they invented this man who seemingly was kind of dreamy for me, right? And also, frankly, I'm older. Right? I'm 55 years old. I'm Gen X, and older women are so often the target on dating apps of whatever like horror of the moment that they think can get money out of unsuspecting lovelorn women. So I have a voice, and so I'm trying to yell this out of like, do not take advantage of women like this. And if you have not tested your product well enough to ensure things like this don't happen, then your product's not really ready. I mean, Lawrence and I joke about this all the time. I said it earlier, like AI is not fully ready to be deployed at the scale it's being deployed at. I use it all the time. I use it as a writer. It still cannot keep track of a story. And I've had a lot of very good experiences using AI as a writer. It's making me more efficient, but it always needs human oversight. It always gets some details wrong. And it's okay because I'm using it as a tool. But how many
Yeah.
places are now just using it to do the work of people? I mean, this is in the news all over the place. And how many ways in which is it not fail safe to not cause like pretty egregious errors like this? We don't even know the scope of what this could do. So, yeah, I think this is an important one to yell about pretty
Yeah.
loudly.
I
Yeah.
have a.
And I
I have a
definitely want to make sure that we get this out there. Dana, I know you said you had to go right
Oh,
around this
shoot,
time.
I do.
Um,
Speaking of my day job, I do
and
need to
so
go get in there.
I want to give you a chance here before you leave because Shane and I aren't done for our day. We've still got more to talk about. We've got space to go into,
I love it.
and we're just going to have a good rest of our show. But Dana, as always, I like making sure my friends and my guests get the chance to promote themselves and put themselves out there. So I'm gonna put up some QR codes. Can you sell yourself, my friend, and tell everybody
Ooh.
where they can find you?
Yes, you can. My primary publication is called Gen XE. That's Gen XY. And Gen XE hosts a daily live podcast called The Daily Whatever Show. It's how I know Nick and Shane. They have both been guests on our show. It airs every weekday at 7 a.m. my time and 10 a.m. East Coast time, as well as Saturdays at noon East Coast time, 9 a.m. here. We would love to have all the Banner and Backbone folks come on over and listen to me and to Lawrence and to our guests. We dive into the kind of the people who are elevating things on the left from a cultural, creative, and political perspective. So we would love to have you there. I also am, as I said, a personal essayist. I write memoir type stories that also are cultural observations. This is a great example. And if you are willing to read, comment, and most of all, restack this story, if you do know people who work in traditional media who might be interested in sharing a story about tech run amok, especially from a dating and relationships perspective, um, please restack it. Please share it with them. Please DM me if you have some contacts. How's
And
that?
we will have the article linked directly in the show notes for everybody to follow. And it is in the QR code was up earlier. So anyone on the replay too, please go to Dana's article, restack it, share it, forward it to your chat groups, whatever you need to do to get it out there.
Yes.
Put it on Facebook too, so that
Yeah.
Meta has to deal with hearing about it on their
Yes.
own site. Like that's a powerful tool is make
That
them hear
is.
about it.
Tag them.
So,
I've been tagging them,
yeah.
but they are not contacting me.
Oh, I wonder why. I wonder why.
I mean,
Interesting.
Meta's the fucking worst. I mean, they are the cesspool of AI. They make 10% of their revenue off of ad scams. I mean, they just don't give a singular f
Right. I will
about and
say,
like they are
yeah.
the cesspool of the internet. Everything.
I used to love it, and it used to keep me connected to my friends, and it was like my journal, and my friends have watched my kids grow up. They've observed my kids grow as artists, and I now feel creepy putting anything out there other than like writing work because the trust is so irreparably broken. But we had talked about like if we just one last thing, and then I do need to
Mhm.
hop of like we would take this feature down if we were in PR, if we were devs. they can't take AI stuff down because it's this race to the top right now, right?
Mhm.
I'm sure that Meta cannot be seen as backpedaling in the AI space. It is not going to come down. It doesn't matter how many women are catfished or tricked into believing they found love or lured to an unsafe location to meet a fake person. It won't
Yeah.
matter. The app will stay unless maybe if we hold them accountable.
And we can do that together.
Yeah.
And so that's why I brought Dana on today. So thank you, Dana,
Yeah.
for joining
Thank
us
you
today.
so much. This
Yeah.
45, now 50 minutes has flown by. You all are awesome. It's been so fun talking with you. Yeah, I'm gonna go shift gears and go start my workday.
Have fun doing your
The
not
thing.
favorite job. And we'll see you again soon.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll have you on again soon too. But go check out the
And vice
Daily
versa.
Whatever and the Gen XE. It's my favorite morning show. And
Thank
it's
you.
like Dana said, it's the reason we all know each other.
It
It's
is.
because of them. And we've all built out together. So go support the OGs in our community, Dana
Oh my
DuBois
gosh.
and Lawrence Winterman over at Gen XE.
Thank you so much. Have a great day, you guys.
Yes, thank you for
Thanks,
joining us,
Dana.
Dana.
We'll see you again
Bye.
soon.
Yes, please. Bye.
And with that, we continue this discussion. Shane, thanks for some really good questions today, too.
Yeah.
Any thoughts before we go into anything else before we shift gears into space at all today?
Yeah, I
Any
mean, there's a
thoughts?
couple things. Okay, so I mean, the first thing I was thinking about this whole story, okay, is my brother. I hung out with my brother yesterday. Okay, he's 22, and my brother is he's a bit of a nut sometimes. He's a little crazy. I love the kid, but he was telling me because he's much deeper into the Reddit. I'm like the enigma of my generation. I don't enjoy the internet in like any capacity. I kind of fucking hate it. I just think all of these things. Like, I just think it's become a cesspool. Like I said, but he was telling me, and he showed me a little bit because I had before it was something I'm paying for now, and I kind of regret it, but it is what it is. I got a Tesla when I a couple years ago. Okay, when I was like, I want to not pollute the environment. And I had a Tacoma that I got, and I go on, but I needed it to do my job because I was spending too much on gas. I'm in California, so they'll take an arm and a leg. But now, despite even if you don't want it, now Grok is installed in your car. Okay, so you get like a limited amount of time with Grok. Now, Grok,
Can you
like
turn
I
that
had
feature
stopped
off?
talking to Grok, but people are using Grok for basically to have the equivalent of phone sex with Grok. And my brother was telling me these Reddit stories, and we prompted it, and with like 2 questions, Grok will start to like flirt with you, and it will try and get you to engage in conversations of a sexual nature. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. And so this doesn't even touch this Grok was willing to describe its physical appearance. I was like, okay, stop. Like I
Please tell me
can't. I
that it's
can't.
not describing its physical appearance as though it were Elon Musk, because that
Um,
would be fucking gross. Because
oh,
I feel like that's what it's based off of, is Elon Musk uses Grok to get his sexual fantasies out there
oh
and
yeah. But
and
it was
just fantasizes about himself as Grok, so he gets everybody else to be Grokophiles.
yeah,
Like,
dude.
I
Like
don't know
that's a
what the fuck.
term.
Can you turn that off? Like, is that a feature you can turn off in your car? Is the
So
Grok?
there's, I guess, like not safe for work mode, but it's not the default. And I'll be honest with you, Nick, dude. Like, whatever you think, I like my brother was reading me some of these Reddit stories. I got it to say what it was. It basically said that it we had it do like a historical, like how it would win World War II, right? And it's like I had I kicked Hitler off and started the Fourth Reich, right? So Nazi grok, like absolutely a thing. But like you can tell by the quality of these stories my brother was telling me and these things that grok is very good at this. Not like it's like been trained to the point where it can be a fantasy. It can create these fantasies for you.
That's nuts. That's
It's
not
just
safe.
it's not safe. It's not safe at all. But to that point, I guess what this made me think is that, and I think someone said this in the chat, you have this loneliness epidemic. You have these incels who can't talk to women, and they would rather, sit in their car and jack off to grok than talk to a real person. And, I don't even know, that might be the most dystopian shit I've, heard. And I just am,
Well,
it's
the
not
next stage of
safe.
this is I mean, there is a loneliness epidemic in the world for men, self-caused. Men have
Mhm.
self-caused their own loneliness epidemic. I'm not going to put this on anybody else's shoulders. Men have done this themselves, and it's really destructive what's about to happen, because not only is this making situations unsafe for women, like Dana's story, where it could have easily been a really dangerous situation, but
Yep.
it's also putting dangerous situations for men who are already lonely out there, because it's convincing them, it is indoctrinating them to further be isolated. It is further indoctrinating them into and propagandizing them that the only way that they could be happy is using a AI generated love, or a cybernetically generated love that comes out of one of these fucking Elon robots that he wants to make, or whatever Nazi bots that want to
Yep.
come out of this organization and these groups. This is an indoctrination tool. They're using it for propaganda and indoctrination. And as our friend in Jack in the chat said, it's with no safety rails. That's so traumatic if kids go into this sort of space. Their brains are not ready to process sexually explicit material. And we cannot just allow it to be like the normal thing where kids have to experience sexualization and brain rot through fucking Nazi mecha Grok and mecha Hitler, who wants to kill and like believes that Nazism is okay. Like, this is fucking disgusting. And it is horrible that we are allowing our kids to have to like experience these things or be a party to any of this shit, because yeah, it's a grooming tool. That's what it is. It's indoctrination and a grooming tool. Whether we like it or not, it's here and we have to fight against it, which part of that is don't let your kids use AI unless it's absolutely necessary. Don't let your kids just be on AI. And if they are using an AI tool, you monitor it as a parent. You have to.
Yep.
You don't let them just have conversations with AI, because you don't know what the fuck it's going to tell them. You don't know if it's going to make things up. You don't know if it's going to be Grok possibly saying things like, oh, the Holocaust didn't happen, that was made up, or some shit like that. Or the US is not currently illegally killing people in the Caribbean or
Right.
illegally caging people in ICE detention centers. It's going to lie to you. It's going to tell them
Mhm.
falsehoods. It's all an expansion and acceleration of this post-truth world where truth doesn't matter, but the amount of propaganda does. And that's really dangerous, because these things are supposed to be tools and not supposed to take over our whole lives. Like, incels are the problem. Men who are incels, who have power, who have gained a lot of money, and who want to spread their I hate women because this one woman rejected me one time, or I hate trans people because I'm a bigot and I don't know how to process my own emotions, or I hate gay people because I'm closeted gay and I don't know how to process my emotions because I've been indoctrinated and groomed into hating myself and hating others who are like me. And I'm saying this as somebody else. I like other people. I could care less. Like, problem solved. Like, people are people, but AI is teaching people that they're not.
Yeah.
AI is taking the humanity out of it again, and it's creating a really unsafe environment. And it's going to get worse, is what I think, is because they're
Oh
not
yeah.
willing to take these down and do the right product testing and the right means testing and the right growth testing. And because they don't have the regulatory requirements that we've talked about how regulation is good and meant to help, is they're going to do the old school tech method of move fast and break things, and they're just going to break everything in the
Yeah.
process rather than move deliberately and create things, which is what regulation allows you to do, is deliberately move with a defined set of rules so you know where your guardrails are. We're not back in the 90s, Mason. Like, we don't even want to be back to the 90s. The 90s was pretty fucking homophobic and transphobic.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, maybe libraries, like physical tools. Yeah, like, I'm like you too, as someone who grew up without the internet and then got the internet, like, I might be online quite a bit, but I'm on very few sites anymore. Like, I reduce my traffic on the internet as much as I can so that I'm not interacting with fake AI people, and getting lured in by Ryan bots. I'm surprised it didn't use the name Chad, to be totally honest. Um, and like the second one be like Chad Light, like, hey, I'm Chad Light. Welcome. Welcome to AI dating experience. Did you enjoy your time with Chad? Did you get an atom out of this experience? Or are you just on a Chad Light today? Like, that's where it's going to go. They're going to start using these terms too, and it's going to have like a social ranking system around it. It's fucking dangerous. It's
Dude, it's
scary
fucked
and
up.
dangerous.
It's like I don't even know. Like I and she kind of said it, but like imagine someone shows up to that bar, okay, and they're going around and they're asking for Ryan. Are you Ryan? Are you Ryan? I'm looking for Ryan. What happens when some dude is like, yeah, I'm Ryan?
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah,
think you?
random dude picks up Dana and abducts her. That's what it leads to. That's what this would
Yes.
lead to. Is a woman is going to go to is going to go through this dating flow without asking the questions that Dana does, because she's so good at asking questions and she knew what was going on.
Yeah.
At some point, I mean, she figured it out, but it took a little while. Like she was saying, she wasn't really paying attention. It wasn't the first thing on top of her mind, but then it became weird and she figured it out. And like, not every woman's going to do that, just like not every man does that. Most people don't do that. But they're going to get lured into a situation where a woman is going to get taken, or she's
Yes.
going to be assaulted and attacked and abused. And I'm glad that Dana did not have that situation happen, because that's what it's going to do. We live in America where people are not safe to walk out in the streets all the time. Like, you have to we have to be truthful about what our current situation is in the world and our social standings and our social safety. Is, I'm not going to bullshit you. It's not safe all the time in America. It's not safe to be a woman in a lot of places. It's not safe to be
Not safe to
gay
be
or
black.
LGBTQ or a minority or
Yeah.
anything. It's barely safe to be a
Yeah. Or
white
Hispanic,
man.
or it doesn't matter. It's not safe. It's just not
Yeah,
safe
it's
here.
not safe.
Like
We
you're
we
right.
have we
It's
have a
just not safe
rampant
here.
gun problem. We have rampant pedophilia and child abuse and marriage abuse, spousal abuse and domestic abuse. And as our good friend, or my new good friend, your weirdo friend, said, is
Mhm.
on Dana and Lawrence's show this weekend, is fascism is domestic violence on a national scale. And I think we need to be
Yes.
talking about it like that. And this is one of those types of things where it could have led to a domestic violence situation, or a non-domestic, but a violent situation. And people are going to get lured in because of
Yep.
scary crap like this. But what we want to do is also take a moment to step away from all of this scary shit and
Yes.
get into space, because you guys don't just come to Palantalk to talk about tech and fascism and tech no fascism.
This
You
is the
come to
no
Palantalk.
fascism part of the show.
Yeah, the no fascism. We don't like fascism here. You like my play on people? I got clever on that one. Instead of techno fascism,
I
we've got tech no fascism. Those commas, they make a difference. Use your
They do.
commas
They do
wisely,
indeed.
friends. But we like to go to Space Talk, which we're still working on, possibly doing a separate show just on Space Talk, and just where we just go have some fun and relax, because I think people need that too. But we're going to
I
blast
agree.
ourselves into space and get away from this for a little bit. Oh no, it brought on an extra screen. There we go. We'll pretend this one's the right one. And we're going to try and get Carl to zoom out. There we go. Carl, the camera, is doing his job. See, AI.
Yes.
This is a good, well, not AI, but this is a good tool. Like Carl, the camera, is a cool tool because it has functionality and it's a tool, but it doesn't tell Shane to go to random places and
Exactly.
meet non-real people named Chad and
Yes.
Ryan. Sorry, Chad and Ryan. You guys, or Ryan and Jack, are the names that they use. Like, sorry that you guys got lumped into that. But we're leaving that
Yeah.
space and we're going into space because Shane shared some cool photos again with me today. And I want to talk about them.
I've always got
And
something cool. I do. I always got something cool.
you do.
And I find that the larger, the more galactic in scale you go, the easier it is to entirely forget about Earth. So I try and take you guys to the most macro stuff we got. And so, Nick, you're gonna get a kick out of this, dude. This is wild. Okay, um, so there's this particular array that in South Africa they've built, and it's dozens of uh, like they
Is this for the
basically
second one or for the first one that you sent me?
both work.
Oh,
Both
okay.
work. We'll start with this one. So these are it's radio telescopes. Okay, so they're looking for radiation. Okay, so if you're looking, that's like the cosmic background radiation. That's how they've dated the universe. But the idea of this radiation is a lot of times after the energy itself has subsided or whatnot, or if you have energy, it'll leave behind radiation that can be detected. That's what these radio telescopes do. And the Meerkat Observatory does it really well. What's particularly unique about the Meerkat Observatory is if South Africa, of course, is at the very southern tip of Africa, which gives it a unique position to view space because of the axis of Earth, the way Earth is tilted. It can kind of just look straight down at a unique angle. So when they're looking at the universe, and what you're seeing here is a majorly zoomed out version of the universe. Okay, this is like what you see here is called the galactic plane. Okay, so what you're looking at is if you go horizontally, those very, very bright spots are star clusters, concentrations. So if you remember, we in the past have talked about voids and filaments, things like that. So if you want to connect two things together, what you would be looking at probably are filaments. Those filament parts where you have star clusters. Okay, so those are dense regions of space. Now, of course, in those regions of space, you would expect to see a lot of radiation because when you have those bright spots or radio, when you have a supernova, things like that, you see all of this radiation, of course. So, what is very unique about this is what you do see in abundance is you have the horizontal galactic plane. That's something you would expect to see. This particular telescope discovered something that they thought was rare, which is these horizontal filaments that are
Oh, the
running
vertical
both
ones,
through, huh?
the vertical filaments that are going on.
Yes, sorry. The vertical filaments going through and above and below the galactic plane. So
Okay,
what is
before you go any
they
further,
yeah.
before you go any further, this picture looks a lot like the one we showed. I think it was a couple weeks ago now, where you showed the light voids and like how things cluster. This
Mhm.
reminds me almost exactly of that on a more micro scale of the universe. Like, because we were talking about how galactic clusters and stuff would fall into these
Mhm.
voids or these pockets or these empty space,
Right.
but it looks almost like that on a smaller
Right.
scale within the galaxy or within the universe itself. That's really cool.
Right. And so what you see here in particular, and it's so interesting that you say that, because it's like this is true in a sense, but also like it's different. And because what you see is what they don't understand in particular about this. And they have a theory, which I will share with you, as to why these filaments exist. But they don't know with any degree of certainty, of course, because they need to do more study. But their reasoning is pretty sound, and it's pretty awesome. So these filaments, they have no idea why anything would exist above or below the galactic plane. Like, why is that there? You would expect things to be clustered within. And there's a bunch of, because the radiation itself is not near a star, right? That's the key thing here, is you would expect to see this radiation near a star. But as far as we know, only stars can create that kind of energy. For to be out in the void like that, where there is no stars, right? Because you see those really bright spots, like Nick said, that is certainly the point on a filament where you have a star cluster, right? So if we were looking at that map that we shared a couple weeks ago, Nick is exactly correct. That would be one of those intersections where you have a filament, right? A nexus. Potentially, actually, now that I think about it, like the void itself, like maybe this is a galaxy cluster in a void, but it could be. It's a concentration of mass. I guess is a lot of mass, but it does look like that, and it could very well be there. So there's another thing I want to point out to you in this picture, but Nick, why don't we go to the next one? Because so what's unique in particular here is these filaments, they were known to exist. Okay, so they knew that they existed prior, but they did not know they existed in abundance. They had identified like five, okay, because they were the most visible. And so now, when you look at these things, what else is unique is these things are about 3 light years wide, but 150 to 50 light years long. Okay. They're massive, absolutely massive, but they're also really thin. So these filaments on a larger scale, there's no cosmic explanation for how they would exist or why they would exist in abundance, like we see. And so I'm watching this video the first time and I was like, dude, are these like tears in like the universe? Like, could you like fly through? Could you go through these like gates effectively? And like, I'm having all these crazy ideas. Unfortunately, their theory is not as cool. It's cool. It's cool. It's not as cool as intergalactic rifts, but it makes a lot more sense than an intergalactic rift. But Nick, just looking at these things, like, what's your take? Before I tell you what they think it is, what do you think it is, and what do you think about these filaments? Oh, I can't hear you, Nick. Is it just me?
I muted myself.
Okay.
Um, from a sci-fi perspective thing, as I talk to myself here, it reminds me a lot of like the rift in space that you see in one of the Star Trek movies. where there's a tear in the fabric of time, and you get Captain Picard, Captain Kirk, and a whole bunch of people on a planet like pulled through time working together. This reminds me of that like tear in space that could ripple through and move. But what it I don't know. It's obviously an energy burst of some sort, but really sustained. Um, and it, I don't know, is it possibly the tails of black holes and where the energy is being dispelled to? Like it's a
That's a
straight
great
line
theory.
pretty much in a lot of ways. I mean, it's
Mhm.
obviously curving and it's over light years of distance, but like we don't know where stuff goes when it gets out of a black hole. So could it be
Right. That's
these are the expansion points from that? And are they, say, possibly wormholes and tunnels, or are they just
yeah,
light?
dude.
What's their
So
theory? I
that's
want to
cool.
hear this.
Yeah, so the prevailing theory, and I see people saying they don't get it, so I'm going to try and explain this from a different angle after I tell you what it is, because I want you guys to get it. That's the whole point. So the prevailing theory is that in these galaxies, in these massive clusters, right, when you have a supernova, it expels energy from basically it's like a pulsar or something like that, a massive explosion. Then you have these tails that are ejected into space of this energy. And these explosions, these supernovas, are so massive that they think it's essentially the ejection of energy, almost in I would say like for like a beam form, right? Which explains the very small width. Again, small width is extremely relative. We're talking about 3 light years. So,
Big to
100
us, small to the universe.
yes, in this small in the scale of the universe. Uh, right? And so basically, you have your supernova. Now, the reason they think this is there's something called radio bubbles. So when you have a supernova, and if you go back to the first picture, I
Yeah,
can actually point out some of these radio bubbles to you guys. So if you look in these to the side, all right, do you see on would be the left hand side of the image if you're looking at your screen? You see those kind of like circular uh, bubbles, kind of
he's
things.
here.
So that's called a radio bubble. And when you have a supernova, you see basically this circular kind of energy, right? Radiating out over time. Now, I don't know. I'm just looking at the picture. And it's interesting to note now that I'm looking at this particular picture where you can actually see a filament kind of snaking out from that one on the left hand side out of the bottom. It looks pretty weak. Weak again is relative. It would cook the earth in about, 0.2 seconds. But it does kind of look like there might be a filament kind of snaking out on the left-hand side, that one on the bottom, on the left, on the image. So maybe that is something worth them investigating. Um, but so, in terms of that, right? So that's the prevailing theory from the guy who discovered them, that it is some form of trace energy from a supernova. And that's why it's going vertically as opposed because it's being ejected from the galactic plane. So unfortunately, they don't think it's tears in space. That said, dude, it could be black holes, right? Like again, this is a theory. Like we're talking, like that's their theory. But if they can't prove every other thing wrong, then it doesn't become anything more than a theory, right? So now I'm going to try and explain this a
Yeah,
little differently, so folks can understand. So what we're looking at, the really bright spots on the screen, um, let's all zoom out together. So I want you to stop thinking about the solar system or the Milky Way. I want you to just zoom out. We're going to zoom out. And this particular galaxy, in this galaxy, think of it as the spiral. Okay. So you have a spiral galaxy. Um, and so you've got a spiral galaxy. Now imagine, of course, you're not looking down on the galaxy. where you can see it and in that circular form, but you're looking at it directly from the side. So you're sitting in your spaceship that you've managed to get out of the galaxy, and you're sitting in a space. All right, we're sitting back together, and we're looking at that galaxy from the side. And with this particular telescope, or radio telescope, we're looking at the radiation. So we can see where the star clusters are. So where it's brightest from the side of the galaxy, you're not going to see the distribution of where they are looking down, but you're going to see where they are from the side, which is where the most energy is. Okay, so from there, we're looking at the side. The bright spots are the energy. Now, where you have the most star clusters, there's a reason for that, and there's going to be more supernovas, because supernovas are what create the phrase "we are star stuff," right? Okay, it's because all of the heavy elements in the entire universe have been created within stars. The universe started, there was only hydrogen. Okay, so there was nothing, just protons and neutrons and electrons basically floating around in a void. And eventually the first thing they fused together into was hydrogen. Those hydrogen clouds, under the weight of just imagine a shitload, so much hydrogen that it collapses in on itself and creates a star. That star does fusion, which creates the first galactic metal, which is helium. Okay, and then helium clouds, then that star collapses on its own weight, supernova, and then you have stars that start to form with helium, and that helium collapses into the next heaviest element, and you continue. Okay, so in those regions where there's more supernovas, you're going to get more and more mass, and those are the bright spots. That's where the star stuff is. Okay, now that's why you also probably see, in support of their theory here, stronger, brighter filaments over those really bright spots, right? But the idea is that in those particular spots where we're talking about supernovas, you have the filaments. When a supernova occurs, you're going to have the radio bubble, which you see as exampled in those spots off to the left and the right. The spots where it's really bright, I'm sure there's radio bubbles, but you're not going to see them, of course, because it's really bright. There's a lot of energy in there. It's worth noting that there are radio bubbles that you can't even see in this picture because they have expanded so much over time. But the moral of the story is that you have these spaces where you have lots of supernovas, which are the first stage and one of the most important things in the universe in terms of star formation, because that's how you redistribute material to then become more stars. In those particular regions, when you have these supernovas, one of the results and what they have discovered is that these filaments exist in a place where there is no stars to make the energy. And they have discovered that these structures exist outside of the galactic plane. And the question is, how did they get there? And their prevailing theory is that they're being shot out when you have supernova.
I'm going to just put it out there. Black holes.
We're just going to say black holes.
Like, I'm not an astrophysicist. I'm not one of these folks who study all of this like that deeply. I love space. But to me, like, there's so much energy going into black holes all over the universe that we have no fucking idea where any of it goes. Because energy isn't destroyed. Matter cannot be destroyed. It can only be replaced and moved. There's a finite amount of it, unless it hits antimatter, and then we have a different conversation in its entirety, or dark matter or stuff like that. But like, look at the one on the right. There's one all the way over here on the right. There's this tiny little cluster right here. Yet we have this massive trail that follows it, that goes down all of it. Like, what in the world? Like this on the right here. Please explain to me.
Yeah, dude, that one's crazy.
Where the other energy is around it that would explain it, like there are um, in these bigger clusters in the middle where there's actually energy. No, 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 no. So somebody in the chat, Sue, that's my theory, is that this would be like the excretion of a black hole, is it's just spitting this stuff out into space. But I don't know. It could be anything. Like
Yeah,
I'm not an
to be clear,
astrophysicist, so it's just for me, it's just a wild guess. And it's cool to think that it either if it is a supernova remnant and like the energy of a supernova, one that feels kind of weird because supernovas explode in a sphere of explosion, not
right.
in straight
Mhm.
lines. Whereas the only
Correct.
thing so far in the universe that we know produces a straight line effect is when a star collapses into a black hole and creates a gamma burst in a straight line.
Right.
Like that's the
Yep.
only other thing that I know of that happens in a straight
Right.
line radiation point. But that's a black hole. That's when it collapses into a black hole. Not every star that goes supernova becomes a black hole, but every
And
black
Nick makes
hole
it
shoots out gamma rays.
right. And you make a great point, Nick, is we already know what a supernova creates a circular explosion. It would make sense that it would go out in a circle. And I just want to be clear, when we're saying these things, even the scientists have no idea what they're looking at. Just to be
Yeah.
clear, that this is very new in discovery, and they don't necessarily know what it is. So me
And
and
that's the
Nick,
cool
you
part.
know, right. And that is the cool part. And I really do think that there is a good chance that they are totally wrong. Because, and it's interesting, even you see some of the filaments go at an angle, right? So they're not necessarily, going per se in a direct, straight up and down line. And some exist, like you said, Nick, entirely away from any kind of, solar, or sorry, a star forming region, a high mass, high energy area. So what is creating these things? Like, they just don't know. What they do know is the only other time where you would see this kind of radiation is in a star forming region. So that is the question, is you have these things so far away from where you would expect to see them. And they still can't explain it. The best example, the reason they think it is, potentially a supernova, is because the only other structure like this that they have found is the, radiation, the bubbles from a supernova explosion. But yeah, man, I think it could totally be a black hole, because the other thing is like Hawking radiation, right? That's the prevailing theory, that information, right? Information and energy cannot be destroyed. Okay. So the other thing is, like, when you think about it, if a star falls into a black hole, okay, that star existed. That's information. It existed, in that sense, and everything was in that star. And I agree. I don't think Hawking radiation is the whole story. I don't. I think that it's too little radiation for the amount that goes into a black hole. I think that when you consider too, like, I am a proponent of the multiverse theory.
Mhm.
I think if you have multiverses and then you get a black hole that's heavy enough to effectively drop through the intergalactic plane into somewhere else, maybe that's what those things are. Maybe, right? Maybe that's energy from another black hole from a different place leaking into our galaxy, right? Our
That'd be
universe.
cool.
Um, that'd be cool. Like,
The possibilities are great.
uh,
Like that's the thing about all this is the possibilities are amazing and we don't know yet because we're not there yet. Like we got so much more to learn and it's so okay that we do. Like I'm so excited that we don't know yet because that means there's more for us to learn about it. Like I want to keep going.
absolutely.
Like what's in space else? Like are these black holes? Are these wormholes? Is this start like this the thing is if you ever watch the show Stargate, that's what these look like. They look like the wormholes that are connected between point A and B. Am I saying that's real? No. But It looks like it.
Can
I
you
can imagine it.
definitively say it's not?
Yeah, but you're right. Can I definitively say that it's not something like that? They also, if you were to probably blow this out even further, it would look more like the connection points in your brain and the neuron endings and the filaments of your brain. The universe resembles our brain in a lot. Well, our brain resembles the universe in a lot of ways. And there are pathways, tunnels, neural pathways between each major grouping in our brain, just like there are in star clusters. There are these pathways that lead to each one, these voids that we're starting to see and find cool information out about. And Shane is showing us things like this, and it's so cool. We're all made out of space. We're all space dust, and we're all children of space and the stars. Like if you're having a bad day, just remember you're a child of the stars and you are made out of space. Like think about that.
Mm-hmm.
Space made you. Space put you here in this universe through a collection of whatever happened, but you're here because you are a child and a product of space. And I'm going to reground us back from space because I got to go.
Hold on, I got
get some.
one more thing
Oh,
just for you guys
one
to
more
pause
thing.
it.
Hit that
because
hearts, yeah. Hit the hearts in if you're in
Yes.
Substack. Smash the subscribe so you can get all four of us from today, Banner and Backbone itself, Shane, Dana DuBois, and myself. So smash that heart. Help us
Yes.
get. There's 250 of you here with us right now on Substack. Plus, we've got YouTube and Twitch going with some viewers over there. Thank you, everyone, for joining us so far. Shane, take it for your one last thing for us.
Yes. So this is just this is gonna blow your mind, and I'm just gonna leave this here with you guys. So NASA sent a mission to a extraterrestrial. Extraterrestrial means outside of our solar system. Okay, we don't know where it's from. Called Bennu. All right. So one of the coolest missions. They took back a piece of this meteor. They brought it back to Earth. Now they've been looking at this thing. On this meteor, they found evidence of water, clay, ammonia on this meteor. Okay. These are all things that we find on Earth. They found 14 of the 20 amino acids that make up all of the human DNA, and they found mRNA. Okay.
You
That
mean the
is the
stuff that
building
RFK
block.
is afraid of?
Yes. The things that are in vaccines, the things that are building blocks for our DNA. So there you go. On a meteor from outside of space, outside of the solar system, where we've no idea where it came from, somewhere in the void, probably for billions of years, it's been flying around, and it's got clay, it's got mRNA, it's got
We're
all
not
of the
alone.
amino acids on there.
We're
Ammonia.
not alone, friends. We will find life out there sometime soon. Like we're nearing that point where either we wipe ourselves out or we find life. Let's make the good choice and not wipe ourselves out. Don't go on weird AI dating trips where they like steal you away and hide you away, but do come back to Earth with us as we celebrate trying to build our community and grow stronger. Is come back to Earth and join Banner and Backbone. Come subscribe with us here at Banner and Backbone, and help build the network. We are getting stronger every day. There are more and more of you every day who come and join us. We hit the 3,000 free subscriber mark on Banner and Backbone over the weekend, which is so amazing. Thank you all. Keep hitting the subscribes and share us with everyone. This helps bring shows like Palantalk and the Rant Act and Vet Talks and the window of discussion and all sorts of things available. Is your guys' paid subscriptions. So thank you so much. Yeah, go touch grass today. Like that's as part of Palantalk's tech no fascism. Go touch grass. It's good for you. It's grounding. It's amazing. While you're touching grass, go subscribe to Gen Xe with Dana DuBois and Lawrence Winterman, co-founder here at Banner and Backbone, Lawrence Winterman. Go check out his other publication and his amazing best friend, Dana DuBois. Also, support Dana DuBois herself with Dana DuBois Writes, we talked to her about her article today on AI dating gone rogue and the dangers of it. And then when you have some time, come support my boy Shane Urich over at the Firebrand Project, who is kicking
If you got a
ass.
minute.
If you got a minute, because this man is kicking ass. He is writing some incredible articles. He is putting in really, really hard investigative work. We like to showcase his articles here on Palantalk and Banner and Backbone. Next week we may jump into some of the Kushner files and how that relates to some of the texts and fascism that's going on. But go support your biggest firebrand. He is leading the charge. He's a young man who's doing the thing and who is actively on offense for our country and just for everybody, not just for the U.S., but for all of us. So come join the Firebrand Project. Shane, sell yourself even more if you need to.
Yeah, I mean, guys, like the Firebrand Project is not about me. It's about everyone who's part of the Firebrand Project. It's about the Firebrand. I'm the first step. So my goal is to provide you guys with information. We're forging dialogue and we're burning bright. You guys are the torchbearers of a new era of discussion. We're fighting an information war, and Firebrand's you're on the front lines. So we need all the help we can get. I'm just the launch pad. I just give you guys the talking points. I do a weekly show every day of the week, Monday through Friday. I give you a geopolitical global scope dive into the news. Now, of course, that includes what's going on here at home. But I trust a lot of people out there to cover what's going on our soil. My goal is to give you guys a look at the global picture, the economic picture. So if you really want an insight into what's happening economically in terms of corporate corruption, as well as just the geopolitical tensions of the world and what's really going on. And I'm going to try for the Firebrand report. I did something on Friday and I was able to cover twice as much content. So I'm going to try and actually bring that model every day to the report. And so not only that, but if you just want to get a quick rundown, I have show notes. You don't need to watch the whole hour. I give you guys a straight up summary. And my whole spiel is analysis. I'm not just going to give you the headline. I don't believe in that. I think it's important, but I think for any of us to really fight fascism, we need to understand the picture. So come on over. I do, very big deep dives. My big project is the Kushner files, like Nick mentioned. The second one is out. It's about how Jared Kushner came to be the man that he is today and the events that shaped him. And it's really interesting, and it really gives you insight into who he is as a man and what these people are capable of doing, and the scale of the corruption and how many people really have ties. So go read that. Guys, come support me if you can. There's so many things to talk about, and like MSM is missing the mark. Even some of the leaders here in terms of free media, they're missing the mark on a lot of these things, and we need to talk about them. And I need people who support Banner and Backbone. Anyone on Banner and Backbone's a Firebrand, right? That title is yours. But come help me forge dialogue and be part of the Firebrand Project. Free, paid. I'll be live later today with the show. So at 2 p.m. PST, let's see, 5 EST and 4 CST. Come on by.
Awesome. Thanks, Shane. And also come support me at Sick of This Shit Publications. That's my home. It's my less political side. Well, less overtly political side. It's more about community, chronic illness, just our general discussions on building a better society for ourselves and visibility where otherwise wouldn't be. And I'm going to use any of the privilege and all of the access that I have right now to help boost as many people as I can, because as important as my voice is in this discussion and as important as Shane's voices are in this discussion, because we're white, cis, heterosexual looking, passing men, others are just as, if not more important than ours. And I want to elevate them. I want to help elevate people into the spotlight. And so that's what I do over at Sick of This Shit Publications. I'm also running a 60% off sale, I think it is. I'll have to double check to help get across the 250 paid subscriber mark for Sick of This Shit. So help me get there before the end of the year. And that's going to help me keep doing this and make this really full time and be able to do all of this, plus bring more. Like there's so much more we're working on in the background, so much more we're trying to get out. And so support me at Sick of This Shit Publications. And then last one again, and as we've already talked, support Banner and Backbone. Help us grow. I am turning this space and have turned this space into a community area, and I want it almost to be like a co-op media of sorts. But we're no longer the independent media. We're the new media. We are the new media sphere, and become part of it. Help us grow real new media where we tell the truth, where we bring important stories, where we bring on important people, but we do it authentically, and we do it as ourselves, and we do it with your experiences in mind too, and the engagement from the chat. Unlike others and other media sources out there, we engage highly with our chat. We do it often. We engage with our community, and we listen to you. And when things are either right or wrong, we hear them, and we listen, and we learn, and we adapt and grow. So thanks everyone for being here. Sorry as I cough, but thanks everyone for being here with us again. How dare I be human? There are 263 of you with us here in Substack. We've got others viewing around Twitch and YouTube. If you're on Substack with us, hit that subscribe button in the top left corner just to free subscribe to all of us. That includes Dana DuBois, who is with us for the first half of the show. And if you missed that part, please come back for the replay and watch Dana. She brought an incredible story today. We covered AI dating gone rogue, and Dana has some questions, and I have some questions for Facebook and Meta. And we want to hopefully bring her story into the spotlight, so that it can get published nationally in one of these legacy outlets or even internet outlets, but somewhere where there is a huge reach that we don't have yet. We're the new media. Or as Mason said, new legendary media. I'm pretty cool with being legendary. I'll take that. But the new media sphere is us. So come join us here at Banner and Backbone, at Sick of This Shit Publications, at the Firebrand Project, at Gen Xe, at Dana DuBois Writes, at all of our friends. We appreciate y'all so much. And as we say here on Palantalk, hell yeah. And
like,
if you have subscriptions to those purple check marks that they don't need it right now, change that subscription. Bring it to someone who does. Bring it to a new media sphere who does need the support as we grow, so that we can help continue giving back to the community and continue to grow. So y'all are amazing. And also continue calling out other new media for if they're not being good enough. We want accountability, and we want everybody to be better. It's not because we don't like others. It's because we want them to be better. We just want them to grow too. And so don't get mad at us when we call some people out. Get mad at them for not wanting to grow.
Yeah. I'll say this last piece. I have asked both of the big networks, tagged them or messaged them directly to cover the manipulation of the Tennessee election, the appearance of 31,000 votes when there's like 0.4% of the election to be tallied. And I have yet to see that coverage. So what's more important, the last thing Trump said, or if he's, weak or crazy or pathetic, or the fact that we have real evidence that they're tampering with our democracy? If you're a pro-democracy network, then you should be defending democracy by covering those things. We cover those things. So
and
be part of the media. New media.
To add on to that, we're actually having This Will Hold on on Wednesday, I will be interviewing This Will Hold, who is
Oh, fuck yeah.
who is a creator that Dean Blundell and Zev Shalev just had on recently discussing exactly this. And I have some questions that I want to ask. It's an unbiased opinion on this one. I want to hear what This Will Hold has to say, what T has to say, as they Dean and Zev called them, was T. I want to hear what T has to say. I want the tea to be spilled, and I want to know the truth, and I want to know what they are doing and what we can do to ensure that the truth gets out there, and that if this is actually happening, that we freaking pull it out of the shadows and make a big ass deal out of it. So look for that on Wednesday, as I bring This Will Hold on, so that we can have that discussion. Because if some of these larger platforms aren't willing to do it, I'll be willing to. I'll be willing to do it.
Yep.
And I'll be willing to put myself out there and say, we need to investigate every election. And so I'm going to have This Will Hold on so that we can talk about it. It's going to be tea time with T. So thanks, everyone. Shane, thanks again, as always. I always enjoy our Palantalks. And as we say here on Palantalk, and we'll close our show out, this is Palantalk, where we like tech and no fascism.
No fascism.
Have a great one, y'all.
Goodbye.
We'll see you again next week.